Adjusting your Stanislawski SX2 release aid is easy. The only tool needed is a 5/64" Allen wrench, but you may have heard these referred to as a hex wrench. Typically, they come in an L shape or as part of a folding set. To avoid damaging your release aid, always use a wrench that is in good condition. A worn or damaged wrench will destroy the hex-shaped sockets of the adjustment screws. There are two adjustment screws on the SX2, the trigger tension screw and the trigger travel screw. Each of these screws is secured with a locking system that prevents the settings from changing over time, yet still allows a smooth turning of the adjustment screw. Let's make sure that the locking systems are adjusted properly. Using the 5/64" Allen wrench, test the movement of both of the adjustment screws. They should turn smoothly, but have a bit of resistance to their movement. If they move too easily, use two fingers to slowly tighten the 440 screws with a .050" Allen wrench. You should feel a slight resistance, but they should never be tightened all the way down. This system is not intended to be loosened and retightened every time you adjust your release aid. They should be set once and never touched again. To start, you need to put the release into the initial position. Using the 5/64" Allen wrench, turn the trigger tension screw to its initial position. If you're setting a large release aid, turn the screw until the top of the screw is one turn above the lower lip of the recess. It should look like this. If you are setting a medium release aid, turn the screw until the top of the screw is 2 turns over the lower lip of the recess. It should look like this. Remember, 1 turn for large, 2 turns for medium. Now let's move on to the trigger travel screw adjustment. For either size, use the 5/64 wrench to turn the trigger travel screw until the top of the screw is flush with the bottom lip of the recess. It should look like this. Now, press the hammer in until the release aid cocks. The trigger should jump considerably, like this. Now you are ready to set the system to 0 travel. Using the short end of the 5/64 Allen wrench, slowly turn the trigger travel screw clockwise until the release aid fires. Take your time, and don't worry if you have to turn the screw quite a bit. Remember, it is important to do this very slowly. The instant the release fires, stop turning and remove the wrench. Now, when you try and cock the release, you will feel the hammer catch, but the release won't stay cocked. Next, use the wrench to turn the trigger tension screw 90 degrees clockwise. Cock the release aid. It should stay cocked, but if it doesn't, turn the trigger tension screw another 90 degrees clockwise. At this point, the release aid should stay cocked and have an ultra-light trigger. Now it's time to fine-tune your trigger setting. The trigger has been set to 0 travel, and now all that is left is to personalize its setting to meet your individual needs. Moving forward, all adjustments will be done by turning only the trigger tension screw. To increase the weight of the trigger, use the 5/64 Allen wrench to turn the trigger tension screw 1/8 of a turn clockwise. Test the trigger. Repeat this process until the desired trigger weight is achieved. A little heavier than you wanted? Just do the opposite and turn counterclockwise 1/8 of a turn. You may even make very slight adjustments by turning the trigger tension screw small amounts at a time. Remember, clockwise is heavier and counterclockwise is lighter. Be careful and do your adjustments slowly. If you get to a point where the trigger travel screw will not turn anymore, stop. and back the screw out half a turn. If you bottom out the trigger tension screw and attempt to cock the release, you can damage a release aid and it will require factory service. Well, that's it. You are now an expert at setting the firing system of the Stanislawski SX2 and are ready for years of fun on the archery range.